Energized show, up the Irish.
Okay, what's going on, guys? So welcome to a brand new episode of Energized. Ross,
Are you intoxicated or something?
how are you doing, bud? Is water wet?
Water is not wet, if you're asking me. Team McGregor finally on the board. You know, the clean sweep
Threw you a
didn't happen.
curveball there, bud.
The clean sweep did not happen. Last week, I was asked the same question, and I said that clean sweep will happen as definite as water is wet. So, look, obviously, first of all, what a finish that fight was! Like, unbelievable finish.
So obviously going into that fight, Team McGregor were 7-0 down, and it was Rico Disculio taking on Hunter Azure from Team Chandler, and like Hunter Azure was like their number one seed going into it. Ross, you were like, water is wet. There's going to be a clean sweep, and like in the first round, Hunter Azure absolutely smashed Rico as well. So like obviously we knew the result going in to watch the episode, but like after the first round, I was like, how does he pull this out of the bag?
Yeah, like obviously he had a small bit of success on the feet to start off with, and then he threw some like lovely elbows from the bottom, but he looked like he was effectively drowning at one stage. That like it was eventually going to happen. And when I was watching the fight and Hunter Azure got him down and there was 3 minutes to go, I was like, this is going to be a long round for him to survive it. And the thing about the Ultimate Fighter is you can sort of tell how long the fights are by how long's left in the episode if you're watching it on UFC Fight Pass. So I was like,
You're giving away the secrets, man.
I was like, this definitely goes to the second round at least. So I was like, Jesus, this is going to be a rough round. But he got back to his feet and like it wasn't a 10-8 round, put it that way. It wasn't a 10-8. It was like a 10-9 round to Hunter Azure. But like he did a bit of damage to him as well. Like he cut him up a bit in the first round. So he got his shots off, but Hunter Azure was definitely winning. But I don't know, it looked like Hunter Azure was more tired of the two. And then like that right hand was just absolutely phenomenal. It was like right on the end of it as well. It was just a beautiful shot. And then the double-handed smash was like a gorilla smash on the way down. I was like, what is that? But like,
have you seen that before?
I don't think I've ever seen. So maybe like a 4-year-old fighting like another 4-year-old or something like that, something along those lines. But it's not definitely something. It's
definitely something like a monkey would do, isn't it?
Oh yeah, gorilla smash.
Yeah, that was pure gorilla smash, man. That was smashing a coconut.
He spent too much time with the SBG gorilla.
That's true, man. That's true. But like, that in my opinion, that's the biggest win of the season.
Yeah, definitely. Like he was the number 4 seed going in. Hunter Azure was number 1 seed going in. Like, what a fight! Like, what a fight! And when I was initially watching it, I was like, I don't think this guy is like that great. But then obviously his striking is up to scratch. I don't think his grappling's up to scratch. I think that's obviously where his flaws are. But look, I suppose he's a work in progress. Also, it was funny that the prospect actually he was 11-2, and Hunter Azure as the vet was 10-3. So I was like, they've actually had the same amount of fights.
Yeah, and also the prospect Rico is 36, and Hunter Azure is 31. But that puts Team McGregor on the board. I know we were taking Brad's win as well for being Team McGregor, but it actually gets more exciting next week, Ross.
Yeah,
hold on, wait. Sorry, before we get into next week, after the fight, Conor like going in, running around the cage, that was absolutely hilarious. Getting in and then calling out the whole Team Chandler, saying "Team here today, gone tomorrow." But the way like he celebrated that win as if he won the whole season.
Yeah, it was running around the cage like Ireland had just won the World Cup. It was brilliant to see. And the fact he sort of downplayed all Chandler's wins, and then when he got a win, it was like, yeehaw!
Who ran quicker around the cage? Conor for that win for Rico, or Dana when Conor and Chandler were facing off? Who ran faster around the cage?
I think Conor. I think Conor's got a few years on him, so I think he's got better pace. But yeah, that was it was just funny to see because I think watching him lose, bar obviously the Lee Hammond fight, he was distraught, but you were sort of like, oh, how invested is he? How invested is he? And I think after seeing the win, like, he'd be like, right, he obviously is very, very much so invested. And look, the back and forth with the likes of Roosevelt, Roberts, and stuff like that, like, I thought that was funny. I thought he was just give them a bit of stick or whatever. Because
Yeah.
I always laugh when he slags those guys because I'm like, Brad Catone was on that team and you're sort of saying there has been.
Yeah, but do you know what the thing is? As we said a few episodes ago, there hasn't been any sort of like pranks or anything, and like a lot of the stuff on the shows goes more into the backgrounds of the families. Now, maybe as the shows go on, there's going to be a bit more back and forth, but usually it's between housemates. But seeing a bit of spiciness in the show gets people more intrigued.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like people love the drama. You know what I mean? That's what they're here for. And at the end of the day, like.
This isn't Love Island, boss.
Yeah, it's not Love Island. It's not
what's the saying again? The Ultimate Feelings Championship.
Yeah, the Ultimate Feelings Championship. But look, at the end of the day, Rico got the job done for Team McGregor, and he got to drive the Lambo afterwards. So, like, you know what I mean? I'd say the other fighters are raging now. If they got the dub, like, they would have got to drive the Lambo. But Rico, Mr. Lamborghini now. I
suppose he hasn't given it back.
I thought it was gas that Conor gave him the keys and was like, don't even know this chap can drive. I was like, Also, I think like driving one of those cars is different to driving any other car because like the power in them is something else.
How would you know, man?
I wouldn't, but there we go. I only have a Ferrari, so like I wouldn't know what a Lambo's like.
Yeah, we need to get more money off $4 stout, the best stout in the game, for to move up to Lamborghini levels, Ross. But next week, Roosevelt Robert is taking on Austin Hubbard, and like that's a UC level fight, like semi-final.
Yeah, I think it's a great fight, and then obviously in turn that means Jason Knight will be fighting Kurt Holloway. What do you say, Mississippi versus Louisiana? I was like,
yeah, that was brilliant.
Yeah, I was like, he definitely sold us to Dana there with that line, and he was like, this is a fight years in the making, and I was like, yeah, like it is like two country boys going at it, like,
yeah,
let's have it. Yeah, I'm definitely here for it. What is it? Crawfish versus gators?
Man, that needs to be a T-shirt. That should be the next Energized glasses for people listening. If you are enjoying The Ultimate Fighter as much as we are and the show so far, make sure to like and make sure to subscribe. And if you're on UC Fight Pass, make sure to hit the heart because we love it and hopefully you do too. Ross, that's 8 episodes deep of The Ultimate Fighter. It's like that, getting that win was very, very sweet. As people could tell, as the weeks were going on, we're like, that clean sweep is not tasting good in this mouth. But there is plenty more stuff in the world of MMA, especially Irish MMA, that's going down.
There is, but Baz, I have one last tough question. We saw at the end where it looked like Jason Knight was going to change team, and then it said that Jason Knight, I know he'd rather do something else than change team. I don't know what the phrase they used was, but
go home.
Go home or change team. Do you think anyone will change team on Team McGregor?
Well, you were going on about it last week. I think Brad Catone. Well, it's more if you're going to be fighting against someone and they're on the same team as you, you'd almost rather be with someone else, so they're not getting all the inside stuff. Like Austin Hubbard, who's going to be fighting Roosevelt Roberts, he's the issue with his knee, and like they'd be like probably the main sparring partners. So Roosevelt Roberts could definitely
Cody Gibson, was it? He has an issue with his knee as well, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Bantamweight?
I don't know.
But like, yeah.
There's one guy.
Oh no, it's your man Cody Gibson is the bantamweight. He said he didn't want to fight Timor. He wants to fight Rico. That's the bantamweight fella who got the knockout.
They all want to fight Rico. He's the only guy who's not on their team.
Yeah.
And he's a prospect. Like, I mean, who actually has the biggest win in the show. So what do you ask me?
So I'm just saying, do you think anyone's going to swap teams? And if you were to guess, if someone does swap teams, who do you think it will be? Give me one from each weight class.
Well, I'm gonna go Brad Catone because Brad Catone looks sweet in one of them Lamborghinis, bud. And then Rico, he's already there. And then Jason Knight. I think the winner of the Battle of the Middle America should join McGregor's team to get a shot at the Lamborghini. You know what I mean? Get the gators, get the crawfish, baby. It's a hoedown.
I love it. But like you said, Basmo, the Irish are in action this weekend, and the Irish were in action last weekend as well. Big shout out to J.R. Harris, who went over to Virginia. He fought in APFC, Anthony Pettis Fighting Championship, and he got a win with a first round armbar. I think it was about 90 seconds long before he got the win. So Fair play to him. Obviously, he's making a bit of waves over there. He's signed to Showtime Management. I think the sky's the limit for JR Baz.
Yeah, well, Jer, he talks the talk and he walks the walk, and not only in this game, like some of the people I was watching on TUF, like they're obviously good fighters, but like they don't really stand out. Whereas like obviously bringing it back to Jer, like look, he's have to change the team now. He's have to get in a win now, and that's a big platform he's have to be on there, like under the Showtime Pettis brand and flying over to America to fight. But Jer is great on the mic. He's a flyweight. He can knock people out. And he sort of has it all. I'm sure we're obviously going to get into the Sean O'Bannon competing this weekend as well. But Sean is a star. I think Jared is a star as well. He's obviously needs to work more on his all round game. He's obviously new enough. I think he's 3-1 now, Ross. But like he'll grow, and he doesn't need to grow anymore on the mic. He has that. So once he molds the rest of his game under the tutelage of Andy Ryan and of course Redzer and Neil Seary and Bill McCann, who knows where Ger Harris could go? Maybe the Cage Warriors Dublin.
Yeah, I think just touching that, I think that's where we'll see Ger Harris next. Cage Warriors Dublin in October, is it? Yeah, I think that's where we'll see him next. I think that's where he deserves to be. That's where he needs to be, and he needs to be constantly put on these platforms that really show how talented he is. He's
what did you say? He there won't be a person left in Ballymun with anytime he fights in Dublin.
Yeah, exactly. So the Ballymun will be empty.
Ballymun will be empty.
Yeah, and to your right as well. Like he's a guy who really represents his hometown well, and I think there's a big future in the sport from him. He just needs to do everything on his end. He needs to keep on showing up to training and make those improvements because he's got all the star quality there, and he is a lovely fella as well. And I spoke to Andy about it as well, and he said he was very focused and he was very impressed with him all week because, again, like when you make it change a team, you know what I mean? Like there's always going to be someone in the background, like nearly hoping you lose to be like, oh, see, you shouldn't have done that or you should have done that, and that's any team change.
That was us, Ross.
That was us, yeah.
But Cage Warriors Dublin is going to be on the 14th of the 10th in the RDS in Dublin. That's going to be some show because, in fairness, looking at all the cards so far this year, the best show has been Cage Warriors Dublin already. So let's see if that can top it. Although the crack for Cain Loughran becoming the bantamweight champion in Rome, that looked like a mad scene as well. But look, we're biased. Who would have guessed we're biased, Ross? Speaking of great talkers on the mic, Ross, Kiefer Crosby got the win on Kingpin Boxing over the weekend. I know Keane got the win as well. Ben Williams got the win as well. Who else am I missing? Was there another Russian? Oh, Decky Dollar retired. Shout out Deck. But like Kiefer totally sold that card. Like the face-offs he was doing with Aaron Chalmers, like about who's former Geordie Shore star. Like the event looked unreal. And never mind the flashing of the boobs from your own. But like Kiefer Crosby, I think stole the show.
Yeah, he
and the walkout song, Ross. Sorry, by the way, the walkout song as well. Aslan, which one was it?
Crazy World.
That's it. Yes,
yeah. I was like, is that what it's called?
It's like the only song I know. You know.
Yeah, but look, Kiefer Crosby, he brings the noise. Like he brings intensity. He brings violence. I thought he handled himself really well during fight week. He's such an intimidating character when he's there face to face. He really did a good job of like promoting his own brand and who he is. That he is a real fighter. That like he's not part of this gimmicky stuff. And I thought like his win was great. No doubt about it. I thought he won all the rounds. And then on top of that, I thought the Tommy Fury call out was absolutely brilliant. I think it was spot on. And like I have no idea how much these guys are getting paid. It sounds like they're getting very well looked after. Yeah. And like, if this is the easiest road to a big bag of cash, well then like, I'm all for these guys. I think it's an absolute great idea. And I think it also goes to show, like, you know, there was talks of Kingpin going bust in the lead up to this event. And, you know, they confirmed the event was on. It looked like a fairly packed out arena. So maybe that just goes to show that going forward that like there could be more Kingpin shows in Dublin and maybe Kiefer could headline the next one. Who knows who it's going to be against, but we'll definitely see what's up with that. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's going to be Tommy Fury next from. I feel like Tommy Fury's trying to fight KSI, and I feel like that's like a stadium show or like a Saudi show. But look, Kiefer's put a name out there for himself, and he seemed to be received very well from what would majority be conceived to be like the TikTok fans, you might say.
You should find the Situation from Jersey Shore. Like, just start taking them all on, and then move on to California. Dave
Mark
from
O'Neill.
California. Mark O'Neill. Shout out Mark. Mark.
Legend.
Ross, these organizations know once they come to Dublin, it's just like we should actually just have an event here every week.
Yeah, like why not? And then like just to go back over like Keane Cowley as well. Like I was very impressed with his boxing skills.
Yeah,
another Forge Irish Stout alumni. But
who isn't?
He was very impressive because he was fighting a bare knuckle boxer, so he was fighting someone who just boxes. But I thought Keane looked great in his fight. I thought he was actually the better boxer of the two. Decky's fight, I felt like there wasn't actually a lot actually going on that. Like when it sort of got to the end, I was like, I don't really know who won that because it didn't feel like anyone like sort of grabbed the balls grabbed the bull by the horns. Not talking about grabbing balls here. And then Ben Williams' fight, I actually thought was a joke. Like I think your man Fabu D had fought
Black Paddy
on one of those charity events. I think it was Steve O'Timothy's charity event. And I saw him, and he treated that like it was a joke. Now, like at the end of the day, like I don't think anyone's taking it that serious. But like
they only got 4 days notice. In fairness,
yeah, but like even the way he was like holding his hands up and like sort of running around, like it was as if it was a skit to him. So like I hope we don't see him on a card again.
I think that sounds like a call out if you're asking me, man.
I don't. I don't want to see him on a card, so he should come on the card against me.
Oh, I love it, Ross. Yeah, but that was it was great to see. Just like look, you love to see the Irish getting paid, and it was great. It was great. It really was. It was good to see, and there was a lot of stars out there watching it. And let's see what happens next, because they've a finale to do. I can see them coming back, but we are trying to get Kiefer on the show to see what's next, because he wants to go to the UFC as well. But we will find out. Ross, this weekend. Well, before we get into Shauna,
we have Friday night.
Will we talk about Reese first?
We'll maybe talk about Reese after.
Yeah, we don't like that guy. Okay, this Friday, right? Dean Barry is back. Titan FC, Friday night, Friday the 21st on UFC Fight Pass. Last time out, he was disqualified against Mike the Truth Jackson in what was it? It was
UFC Fight Night.
UFC Fight Night. It was about a year ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, give or take, yeah.
Give or take. Leading into that fight, loads of people were saying, why is he even in the UFC? He didn't get the result that he should have got. And now this is the time that he has to go and prove himself. He was meant to fight in Cage Warriors, Dublin, pulled out. This one is the big one now. So hopefully Dean Barry gets to win and puts his career back on the straight, and then who knows where he can take it next. But also, Ross, Friday night, Cage Warriors London is on.
Yes, it is. We have Takamandu making a short notice return. The Team KF man is looking to get back in the win column after he suffered a defeat in Dublin. Look, I think he's chomping at the bit to get back in there, so hopefully we will see Takamandu with his hand raised. And then his teammate is fighting in the main event. James Webb is looking to reclaim the Cage Warriors middleweight championship. He is fighting against the current champion, Mick Staunton. He actually has a win over Mick, so it's going to be very interesting to see if he can be victorious the second time around. What do you make of this fight? There's a lot of featherweights fighting on the card, and you know, with Paul Hughes, you know, being in limbo whether he'll go to the UFC or not, it's going to be interesting to see who'll get in there for the next title shot.
What do I make of the main event?
Just the card. Well, the featherweights on the main event.
Okay, well, first of all, I'll start with the main event. Like this is going to be like, this is a big fight. Mick Staunton looked like he was coming to the end of his career when he was taking on Will Curry. Like it almost looked like it was lining up for Will Curry to take the middleweight title and really run with it and potentially move straight into the UFC. Like Will Curry is no joke, but the way Mick beat him, like it was he showed how good he was, like a crafty veteran on the ground. And James is going to have his hands full. But like James looks like a new person since beating Paddy McCurry in London.
Yeah.
Like the amount of size he's had to putting on, I wouldn't say he's like more dedicated than ever, because he's always like in the gym putting the graft in. Same with all the Team KF lads. But I think if James has already beaten him before, I think he has to just believe himself to be able to do it again, and then just try not go to the ground with Mick.
Yeah, obviously Mick's top game is very impressive. So I think that's where Mick's going to look to bring it. That when, in fairness to Mick, I will say his boxing has improved quite a bit in his last few fights as well. But I think when, if things get uncomfortable for Mick in the fight, he knows if he gets the takedown, he's on top. That's where he's at his best. I think the only problem you'll have with James Webb is in the first couple of rounds. James Webb, I think, is a much bigger body, so I think he might be hard to actually get down those first few rounds. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see. Last time they went the distance, this is a 5-rounder, so it'll be interesting to see if we'll go the distance this time out as well.
Yeah, well, we will find out this Friday on UFC Fight Pass. Ross, you're asking about the featherweights. Like, look, I'm a massive fan of Cage Warriors. I think like last year, some of the fights they put on were memorable. Even the card they put on in Dublin, the way they put Shelley against Harella, James Webb against Oban. The main event was Reese McKee against Jimmy Waldhead. Like, those fights mean something. Like, and the issue with Bellator, especially Bellator Dublin cards, is that when the Irish are fighting, it seems no one can see what is next for them. And then, like, when the next Bellator Dublin card rolls around, it's almost like a just copy and paste of the fights. There doesn't seem to be anything lining up. Like, is there a title shot next? Do they move into the top 10? This Cage Warriors card, like, I'm going to just say, it's very A-side heavy. Like, there's a lot of featherweights fighting each other who should be actually fighting against each other. The likes of Jordan Vucenic is fighting Bryce Picode. I think he's new to the organization. Morgan Charrier is fighting Diogo Silva. I think he's new to the organization. Who else? Harry Hardwick is fighting Vitor Estevam, who's new to the organization. Paul Hughes is the current featherweight champion. I know he hasn't fought in, I think it's 2 years, in November or something, is it?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
About that. Like, these fights, they should almost make a
interim
or even like a tournament. They haven't really done a tournament since Ian Gary when he got signed to the UFC. I think they need to start lining these lads up, like facing these lads off. I know Vucenic has fought Charrier before, but maybe, like, I don't know why they didn't put Hardwick against Charrier. I'm sure Hardwick would be all over that. There's just certain fights that they're not really lining up. And look, if we're going to praise them, we also have to say here, what's the story, lads? You know what I mean? Like a lot of these fights are very one-sided. That doesn't mean they're going to win, but
yeah, I think they're more one-sided at the moment on a name value. We have to wait and see them play out. We have to wait and see them play out whether, because like as much as we always praise Ian Dean, you know what I mean, on his matchmaking skills, like from a name value side, like I'm not as familiar with these guys here. These guys are fighting, but again, like let's see how the fights play out. Maybe these guys are unknown gems, but like I agree with you. I'd much rather see like Harry Hardwick fight Morgan Charrier and see how that goes. But
yeah,
who knows what's going to happen?
Which fight are you most looking forward to seeing?
I'm probably seeing the main event. I just think it's an interesting fight between two guys who fought before. Last time fought was 3 years ago, so let's see how this one plays out.
Yeah. We put a poll out asking which fight would you most like to, are you most looking forward to, or is your main event Mick Stanton versus James Webb, Vucenic versus Picode, Hardwick versus Estevam, Takamandu versus Grant Ogbone, and the winner by 33% is Harry Hardwick versus Vitor Estevam. So, like, hopefully just things start lining up more so we can start doing more face-offs as well, Ross. So, because I enjoy them, people enjoy them, and like if the people aren't really chomping at the bit for the fight, then I mean, we're fans at the end of the day, then we're not really either. But that's Friday night, so make sure to tune in because we're going to be supporting the Irish lads. And like obviously Vucenic is a star, Harvey Hardwick's a star, Charrier is a star, and there is people to watch out for. But Ross, Saturday night.
Yeah, Sean O'Bannon will make her UFC debut against Bruno Brazil. Look, this is this is something that we've been excited for a long time. Shauna Bannon is a star in the making. She really has it all. She's extraordinarily remarkable. She's got a great fighting style. She's got a great fan base behind her already. She's a built-in superstar, and I just think she has that potential to be absolutely huge. I think she is like a great interview as well. She speaks very well. I think she's the total package for the UFC. She's exactly what they're looking for. She's also Irish. And I think outside of Conor McGregor, she has the potential to be the biggest star that Ireland has to offer. I know Ian Gary's blown up at the moment. I think the way he's handled himself after the last fight has been really, really good. I feel like he's sort of making all the right waves. But I feel like Shauna Bannon could be the equivalent to, Ronda Rousey stardom.
Yeah.
If things go her way, I think, especially with that fight style, like the way she throws those kicks is absolutely beautiful. Even the way she comes in with her punches and she blitzes them, like she does have absolutely massive potential. Obviously, since the birth of her son, she's gone undefeated, and her mindset and her work ethic is just incredible to see. And she could be for women's MMA what Katie Taylor is for women's boxing.
I was thinking about it today, Ross, walking around. I was just like, I think if the Tree Arena, right? Here's one for you, right? I know PC was talking to Ariel about MVP supposedly come to the UFC, but I think I'd love to see Ian Gary against MVP in Dublin, right? But say if they made that fight, I know there's like the potential of Wonder Boy, all this stuff, but I don't think Wonder Boy would be like come back into the backyard again after doing the Darren Till thing. And also MVP is big over here, this side of the country, this side of the world, sorry. I think Shauna would sell more tickets than Ian Gary if after their next fights and they both came to Dublin. I just think the way she's like based in Dublin, like she's like represented the country multiple times in kickboxing, all around the world, world champion, like the way she's a girl as well. Like there's like the second ever woman in the UFC, like Paddy by her side. I like the way Virgin Media are coming on board now, and they're going to be showing the whole event. Also, Virgin Media are going to be showing the whole of Reese's fight as well. That's coming up in Paris in September 2nd. September 2nd. Like she just has it all. Like if Shauna gets a viral KO this Saturday, she's off to the races. Like she is off to the races. Like I don't think anyone in the country doesn't support her, bar you, Ross, and me sometimes. But I can just the UFC are waiting for another star. They're always waiting for stars. And Shauna's going to be doing media day this week as well. She has the look. Like she loves flying the flag. Like the flag is never off her shoulders. Even when we were like going to amateur shows watching her, or even her first couple of fights as a pro, like she carries it everywhere. And like that's what they want. That's why they give the Sean O'Malley's the Irish flag. They give the Molly McCann. Shout out Molly. Looking forward to seeing her this weekend as well. They give her these other athletes, the Johnny Walkers, the Irish rub. But like Shauna's a genuine girl from Tala. Her dad's like comes from a fighting background. Her sister's going to the Olympics as well. Like this is like everything the UFC wants, and like they're getting it this Saturday night. So a viral KO win, Jesus, Ross.
Yeah, so there's some 15, 16, 17-year-old girl who's sitting at home right now who's probably going to end up playing Shauna Bannon in a movie, because that's what we're looking at. You know what I mean? Like her life story. I feel like there's like Shauna Bannon pre-becoming a mother, and then the Mama B era, the evolution of Mama B. They're almost like two different people. And ever since she's become Mama B, nothing's got in her way. Whatever she's wanted, she's gone and gotten it. And I don't think it's going to be any different in the UFC. I feel like she's more determined than other people. I feel like she approaches the game at such a high professional level. And I feel like she has the right people around her to get her all the way to the top. And I think literally the sky is the limit for her, I think, in terms of her fighting ability and in terms of her stardom.
Yeah, but even like we obviously follow loads of fighters in the country as well. But like the stuff she does, all the training, like she's this woman is never like out of any sort of training. She's constantly training if she's not minding her son. This is like this is the standard you need to be, Ross. That's why there's only 3 fighters in the UFC. And like we started doing this show because we loved covering mixed martial arts, especially UFC, especially Irish fighters. But then you see another one into the UFC. It's just like this is what makes this is what we love doing, and this is what we love covering. And then like the UFC are getting another star. We've also done it carrying through Ian, and then obviously Conor. When we only got started doing podcasts, and like we love talking about the rise of the whole Irish MMA scene, especially Conor. So it's a great day for everyone. The whole country's going to be watching. The whole country will be supporting her this Saturday. I'm absolutely buzzing, Ross. The worst thing about it is we won't be there.
Yeah, won't be there. I'll be at a wedding somewhere in Kilkenny, so I'll be in the corner streaming on my phone.
I can't believe I'm not invited to your wedding this weekend, but we'll move on, Ross.
Yeah, move on.
Yeah, but for people in around Crumlin, the Black Forge Inn will be hosting a watch party. That's a fantastic idea. So, like, Ross, there will be people there. Like, I'm sure you might be able to run away from your own wedding this weekend just to get a few forged Irish stouts, best out in the game, and then go back and just say you're in the bathroom.
Exactly. And then I suppose the other big news that we haven't discussed is Rhys McKee is back with the UFC. But as I'm going to say it, I don't think anyone deserves to be back in the UFC more than Rhys McKee does. Obviously, he had a tough run in the UFC. He had to fight Hamza Morono. Like, it doesn't really get much tougher than that in your first two fights. But like, this guy has went and clawed his way back there. He's finished everyone that Cage Warriors put in front of him. He's gone 3-0, 3 finishes. We're talking people like Jimmy Wallhead, who's fought in massive promotions all over the world, including the UFC. And we're also talking about Justin Burlinson, who's fought in the Contender Series. Like, Rhys McKee went in there and put them away. 2 fight of the night performances in his last 2 fights for me as well. They were absolutely incredible. And no one deserves it more than him. He is an absolute tireless competitor. And he's just an absolute joy to watch. And he's such a pleasant fella. Like, as much as he deserves it from his fighting career, you almost couldn't be happier for him on a personal level if you've ever spoken to him.
He's all right. No, like obviously Ross. See, the thing is when he went into the UFC, I remember that call off Graham Bowen being like, you've got the call up to fight in Fight Island, and then when we saw he was fighting Kazmat, I was like, Jesus Christ. And then obviously then he fought Alex Morono after that, and he was obviously a UC vet. He didn't get a fair crack at the whip, but this game was ruthless for us, and he sort of I wouldn't say disappeared, but he really took a step back and then just sort of concentrated on himself, built his own confidence back up, and look, we've had him on the show numerous times. We've had him doing face-offs and the build-up to his fights. Like, I mean, we have a very big loyalty to Rhys. Like, anytime you're around him, you're almost surprised he's a fighter. He's that kind of a guy. I think he's about to become a father as well. And congratulations to him and Mrs. McKee. And it's just time. Sometimes you see it's just time. Obviously, Graham Bowen put a post out pretending he was going to fight again in Cage Warriors. And, like, we were talking to each other both on air and off air, being like, what's this chap need to do? I mean, like, who's he meant to fight? There was no one really standing there. There was potential against Oban Elliott, but he was going Contender Series. So nothing really made sense. Like, nothing was going to be bigger than the last fight, or even bigger than the fight before that against Burlinson. And it was like, was Rhys really going to hold out till October to fight in Cage Warriors Dublin again? Didn't really make sense because he's in his prime now, I think.
Yeah, there was no one there for him to fight really as well. Like, he showed the level he's at and how he's going to fight at the level he's at. He's obviously going over he's fighting Loose on September 2nd in Paris, France. Can't wait for it. I think, as always, Rhys McKee goes in there for the finish. I can't wait to see him get in there and do it again. He's back where he belongs, and he's back with the top promotion in the world.
Yeah, and I think Liam Shannon and Pat McAllister will be selling Skeletor berets outside the Eiffel Tower that weekend as well. So make sure to get them, bro.
Yeah, Pat McAllister has to keep on financing that Bentley.
Another man with a Lambo. Ross, look, this is probably one of my favorite shows we've done in a while. I mean, massive news for Shauna. I mean, massive week for Shauna, massive week for Rhys. Like, the lads in Kingpin doing the business.
The Irish are back, baby.
Yeah, Decky Dollar announcing his retirement, like a legend of the Irish MMA scene. And Dean Barry is back this week, and Ger Harris is back in the win column. And like, it's been some great events for Irish mixed martial arts, and I look forward to coming back next weekend and discussing it all, because hopefully it's just going to be an absolute
glorious weekend.
Glorious, victorious week for
Yeah.
Irish MMA. And look, Aspinall against Tybura. That's going to be a big main event in London. Monty McCann's on the card. I can't wait for it. But
yeah, man, it's going to be an absolute insane weekend. Can't wait for it. Just want to say thanks to everyone who does support us. Thanks for everyone who likes this video. Leave a comment below on who you think's going to be, who's next into the UFC from Irish fighters. Make sure to smash the subscribe button, because the more subscribers we get, the better for us and the better content we can deliver you. And as always, stay energized.
Energized show, up the Irish. Been sussing you guys a couple of times. I've seen a couple of clips. I think you've done some interviews with Dylan Moran and that I saw. So keep going, keep up the good work, guys.